Hello everyone, my name is Laura Stranks and I'm an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator here in Brisbane, Queensland, Australia. Thanks for joining me today. This is the card we're going to do. I'll open it up in a sec. It's a little bit longer video, so if you're not wanting to watch it all the way through, you can watch it on the replay later. It's called a Cascade wave card, pop-up card. I cased it from a lady called Leslie Gilby for the mechanism inside. The whole layout is my own design. I chose her mechanism part because it's a lot easier to do than some of the others that I've watched. So I hope you enjoy what I'm going to show you today. Just a quick run through on my group pages and my Facebook page. My group page I've called Laura's Craft Room Tips and Tutorials. If you want to join there, go in and just invite yourself and I will approve. That only takes a few minutes from when I see your application to join. My Facebook page is called Cards by Laura and I've got lots of cards in there to have a look at. Every time I do workshops and classes, I put my cards up in there. So we won't go any more into that. And I'll show you what, this is the first one I did. It's in the bubble bath colour. And I'm using the same die at the front on all of them that I've done. And it opens up like this. How fantastic is that? That's why it's called Cascade Wave. And I've chosen to, the one I've watched, none of them had ribbons around, and I've chosen to put some ribbon around just to hold it shut. And as you can see, this one is just scored straight in the centre, but then the one I found from Leslie, she had it scored so you've got a bit of a hinge here that will take the bulk of the card, and it sits a lot better at the top. This one is similar, but few different layout bits inside, just the daisy paper. Very pretty. I love this one. This one I put up on the demonstrator planning place and got lots of lovely comments on it. So we shall get started because it takes a little while to do. I have prepped a lot of it today and I shall give you the measurements up front. I'll just pull these out here. We've got these. I'll go through these in a minute. The colours I've chosen today are Lemon Lolly and Lost Lagoon. The ribbon I'm using is out of this sheer ribbon combo pack. It's the Lemon Lolly one. That's very pretty. It's good to have a nice fine ribbon to tie your bow at the front. I've had a look at some of the thicker ribbons, but this one and this is not out of a bundle, it's a standalone. It's the Misty Moonlight ribbon, or Night of Navy. I think it might be Night of Navy, I'm not sure. Misty Moonlight as well. But you need a fine ribbon so you can tie a bow at the front. So that's the ribbon I've chosen. Today's also I'm using the Hello Irresistible DSP and the bundle, the stamp set and dies. So I've got that one, you all know that one. The frame for my greeting on the front, and I did write that down. It's out of the Nested Essentials dies. There's 3 different shaped dies, and this is one of them, and they all come in different sizes. That's that one. I'm putting some embellishments on. These loose frosted dots, which come with the Hello Irresistible suite. Very pretty, except they don't have a sticky back, so you need to just put a little dab of glue on to put them on. And I've already put those on some of my decoration pieces. The stamp sets I'm using, textured floral. I've got this greeting, Birthday Blooms for You, out of that one. Irresistible Blooms, I'm using the flowers and some of these dots and the leaves. And the Darling Details, I've used this die, the same as the one on the other 2 cards, out of here, which is this one here. Very, very pretty. and there's a smaller one as well that you can use. So that's all the pieces that I'm using. Just get that out of the road so we don't get lost. And I have all my pieces cut, which I shall show you. Now my base, which is this long piece, I've already scored it, and I'll tell you how the scoring works. The full length is 4 1/8 by 11 3/4. I'll go through the scoring in a minute. Then this will be my mechanism piece, and this is the difference between Leslie's and all the others that I watched. All your mechanism pieces are, you start with one solid piece, and I'll show you how to score and cut that. The inside DSP, which is in at the back of your mechanism, we'll leave that up for a sec. That's these two pieces. The mechanism piece, it's at 7.5 by 6 inches, and it will be cut into 8 sections when we get to that. The DSP behind the wave pieces, they measure 3 7/8 by 5.5, and there's 2 of those. I chose this pattern. I'm going to lay them like that. Then our the front mats is this piece here. It's 3 7/8 by 5.5 as well, and then that's the DSP, and then the diaphragm is the same size, so it will slit over the top. I did find it was showing the edges, so when you do cut it, if it hangs out over the edge, just trim a tiny smidge off. You've got plenty of room that it won't show, so just take a smidge off your DSP underneath so it's tucked in under and you don't see the underneath piece. The back mats, 3 7/8 by 5.5. There's a lot of these are the same. And then the writing panel is the white. That's 3 5/8 by 5 1/4. And then the 2 DSP strips, I haven't put them on there. They're 3/4 of an inch by the same length as the white, which is 5 1/4. 2 lengths of ribbon, which I've got all my decoration bits here. I've got 2 lengths of ribbon, approximately 9.5 inches long. Maybe you could do a little bit shorter, but I didn't want to struggle tying my bows, so I've made them a little bit longer. And then I've added some fill-in squares, and I'll show you when we get to that, to do that piece. I'm not sure if it's going to work, but we'll soon find out. It's to fill in these little gaps in here. I've chosen some DSP to put in there just to see if it makes a difference. I just thought it looked not finished as much. And then some scrap white for your flowers and leaves and greetings. So we shall get started, and we shall start with, I'll move those measurements out of the road. We'll start with the base, and I've already scored it, but I'll show you how I did it. Get our trimmer here. I'll just move that away for a sec, so I need this whole space here. So it measured 11 3/4 inches. You're going to score it at 5 3/4 there. So I've scored down there. Flip it around 180 degrees and do 5 3/4 again. That way you're making sure you get exactly, if you don't cut, nearly cut that. If you go 5 3/4 and then across a little bit, you don't always get the exact measurement, so I always turn around 180 degrees. Then you can fold and burnish on those score lines. We'll do that while we've got it here, and that'll just give you a bit of a border, a gap at the top that you can fit all your mechanism into without it looking too bulky and not sitting straight. And they will sit like so. That should be even at the bottom, which it is, and then you've got that nice little edge along there. Now we'll do the mechanism next. This is the important piece, and I find this is the easiest way to do it. I'll just get my instructions so we get it correct the first time. and it's down there. We want the short side at the top first, and we're going to score up here first. Sorry, we're starting with the long side. Yep, now we're right. 2 3/4 on this left edge. You want to score. Move that cutting blade. With my blades, I always have my scoring blade at the top, my cutting blade underneath, so that I can push that out of the road completely. If I have it the other way around, I tend to pull it from up here. So if that suits you, that's how I do it. 2 3/4. We're on that side, and we're going to score. Then we're going to going across to 3 1/2 and score. And you must do this in this correct order, otherwise it's not going to work. And 4 1/4. Make sure it's exactly the right measurement. 4 1/4 and 7. So you'll need to open the arm out. And we're going right across to 7. And that leaves you a little 1/2 inch tab on that end. Now you can fold. I find it easier to fold it now so you can see where all your pieces are. We're folding from the 1/2 inch tab. So this is the 1/2 inch end, and we've got a mountain fold. I wouldn't burnish it yet, just fold them for now. You can burnish them all later. Another mountain fold, a valley fold, and a mountain, a valley. That one should have been a valley, and then a mountain. And I shall show you when you've finished, that's how it should look. So all of your little wave pieces look like that. As you can see here, you've got the little V piece at the top, and the little tab sticks it together down the bottom there. So that's how they'll look, and that's how that should look. You're going to add tear and tape to that and glue all those together once we've cut them up. But there's an extra score line that we're going to do on this. Now we want the short side at the top. Open it back out again. You don't have to fold that if you want to. You can do it all later, but I was just showing you what it looks like. I'll just sort of crease them backwards again, so it's nice and flat. With the 1/2 inch scored section at the bottom, open out with the short side at the top and the 1/2 inch section at the bottom. So there's your 1/2 inch tab down there. It's going to the bottom of your thing. And we're going to we're working from the right hand edge this way, 3/8. We want the 3/8 inch mark. So we've got 1 2 3, which is the longer mark before the 1/2 inch. That gives you 3/8. And we're going to score down to the first score line. Just make sure that's there. Now I may need to stand up here to see. So we're going down to this score line here at the 3/8 inch. We've got this on 3/8, and we're scoring down. We can go this way. You might not be able to see it. Go down to there. Move it across to the 3/4 inch mark, which is that. Everyone should know the 3/4 inch. That's the long one there, 2 before the 1 inch. And we're going to cut. And that gives you your first strip. And I'll show you how that worked. So we had that, that, and that. And that score line will come into play later. I'll show you that. That there will have the tear and tape on, or multi-purpose glue. And that's one of your little winged pieces. So that's that. Now we're going to repeat that another 6 times. We want 7 of those to start, and you should end up with a 3/4 inch piece at the end. So across to 3/8 and score down. Move that blade back out of the road. Score down to the first score line. Across to 3/4 and cut. we'll just put those aside. 3/8, which is there, down to the first score line. We can come up for this one, and 3/4. I didn't do all this to start because I wanted to show you exactly how it ends up. So that's 3 we've got. 3/8. It's quite easy once you get into a rhythm. Score up. 3/4, which is there. Try to be exact because the last one matters. It needs to be 3/4, and if you've scored correctly and cut correctly, then it will end up as a 3/4 inch strip. Cross to 3/4, cut. 3/8. Just have to remember 3/8 and 3/4, and make sure you've got that 3/8 without moving it. That's that line there. Hope I didn't do. Oh, that's right. Sometimes you doubt yourself what you've done. And then cut at 3/4. Just the narrower it gets, the harder it. Oh yes, it is. Didn't look like 3/4. 3/8. Score. Down from there. And 3/4. If you could work it out, it's 3/8 is half of 3/4, so you're scoring just one section in half, if that makes sense. Now the last piece, should be 3/4 inch wide, which it is, and we're not going to score that piece. We're just going to leave it. It's the last piece on the wave, which you don't want showing. Not sure which one I'm referring to, but you'll see when we get to it. So there's no score line, and you end up with 8 pieces. So we'll just put that aside. And they're all going to go like this, and we're going to try and keep them all. Just put that non-scored one aside so we don't get it mixed up with the rest. And all of these are going to be, and I'm going to use my multi-purpose glue because it's a little bit quicker today. I do normally use tear and tape on anything like this because it's a lot stronger, but for this today, just for quickness, we shall use this. Plus, if you put a little bit extra on here, it's going to hold, and also you need to get it nice and straight. If you fold that, pinch that like that, and then just pull that in, the tab in, line it up so it's nice and straight and even at the top, and that should just fold in half with your little dip in piece there, your little V in there. Get them straight on the sides as well. I think using the multi-purpose glue, it gives you a little bit more wiggle room, as they say. Now I'm going to lay these all the same way. My join of my tab is on the front. I'm going to put, and the score line is on the front. I'm going to put that there, and we'll quickly do all of these. Without getting glue too everywhere. So your score line at the front, we will move those little V sections down later. It's a little bit chilly here today, has been for a few days. We're almost to the middle of winter. Today's the, what's the date today? 3rd of July. I have to always look at my calendar. I never know what day it is. This is my only job I do, as well as looking after my husband and the house. I do candle pouring. I love pouring candles, and I burn candles in my house a lot, and I've done a few candles for friends. I do market stalls, just to let you know a little bit about myself. I sell my cards at the market, so it's not a full-time income for me, because I did hear one girl say one day, oh, I'll just go to the cheap shop and buy a card. It's not the same. But anyway, each to his own, if that's what they choose. I've got a few regular ladies that come to the market that I do. I only do one market on the second Friday of the month. There's a couple of, that one's a little bit crooked. I'm going to trim that before we start. I'll just let it set a minute. Must have gone a little bit crooked with my cut. Yeah, she comes every month and buys a couple of cards. She wanted a happy anniversary card last month, and I didn't have one, so I've now done some nice anniversary cards. So she did find one eventually that she liked. It didn't say happy anniversary on it. It just, I can't remember what was on it now, but she was happy with it. These are all the same. That's the last one. I will trim up that other one just in case it shows. It shouldn't show anyway, but I do like it. It's this one here. It's gone a little bit wide at the bottom. I'll just trim that down a little bit. That's better. I didn't get it too straight there either. Just put a little bit more glue on that one. At least with the glue you've got time to give it a wiggle around. Try to get them nice and straight, because they will sit nicely when you assemble your card. Right, that's all of that. Now, we shall put some of this together first. We'll sit those aside to dry. Just remember that's the, I haven't glued that one yet. It can get glued the same. With the couple of other videos I watched, and they cut all the pieces first and didn't do this scoring, and they didn't do the half mark scoring either. And I find with that score mark there, it's so much easier to line everything up. And scoring, you haven't got to score all individual little tiny pieces. So we shall get these pieces and our front and back. I'll do the back section last because I want to make sure I put the ribbon underneath. So inside needs to be done before we can put the, and I haven't got mats around on this like I did the front and back, because I thought it would make it a little bit too thick. Just looking for my silicone mat right here in front of me. That's my non-scored one. I chose this pattern because it's a little bit more detailed, and this one here, the back of this, is what I've chosen to put in the little gaps between each of the wings, the Cascade pieces. Now I've got this so that the leaves are facing upwards, and I'll do them both the same way. Yeah, I want something subtle in between so that it didn't have sort of a pattern on it, and that pattern toned in with the DSP on the front as well. Actually, all of this Hello Irresistible DSP is so pretty. I've used lots of it. I've got a few packs of it, so it gets used quite a bit. So I've got those running the same way, but it's up to you. You might choose a generic pattern that doesn't really matter which way it goes. Now we'll do the front. Actually, yes, I will do the front. So I've got these two pieces. I'll leave the back till last because I want to make sure I put that ribbon down. I'm just going to put some glue around the edge of this and adhere it to my DSP. It doesn't need to go across where the little holy pattern is. And onto here. I've cut it in just a fraction. I gave you the measurements for a full size. It's the same size as the lemon lolly, but then I trimmed it in at just a fraction, just so it would not show. It's just a smidge. Line it up like so, so it doesn't show. And then that will go on the front, making sure it's the right way. Like that. I'm just making sure I've got all my bits ready. This is just flat. I've got some decoration to go on it, which I think is quite pretty. I did some gold embossing. I have not done embossing for so long. My workshop ladies prefer not to do it, but eventually they're going to have to do it. I've avoided doing it for quite a while, but I love embossing, heat embossing. So we've got this little greeting, and I did an arrangement with the bigger flower. All my little Cascade pieces, I've got the smaller flower, and this is the bigger one, and I'm going to put that down the bottom there. So I've already got my dimensionals on the back. I thought I'd prep a lot of this beforehand because the mechanism takes the longest. I don't like overly long videos. I'm going to pop that down inside that so you can still see the detail, and you can still see the DSP underneath. And then this one down the bottom. I heat embossed my greeting. That one's sitting up on another one. Heat embossed my greeting and all my flowers, and then I did a sponge, the sponge dauber. I did, that back of that is stuck in under that. I sponge daubered the centres with the lemon lolly, the whole flower with the lemon lolly, and then I did the centres with the Lost Lagoon, just to give them a little bit of detail. And it's stuck to my finger. And I'm just putting that on an angle so my leaves are inside the perimeter of the card. So how is that? We'll leave the back till later. We'll do this inside piece. I could have done those and let them sit aside to dry. Now on my PDF I have got a little diagram of the pieces and how they go together. So I'll show you this one here. Your little V piece, it'll come up to the top. So when you lay them down, you've got this piece, that piece comes to the top. I have to keep looking at my card. Like so. So we're going to lay them all the same way, and you want that join of the tab at the front. So the back is clear because that's the way you'll see it. When it opens up, you won't see this down in here. So make sure you put that little tab piece facing you, and the score line will be facing you as well. So just lay them all the same way. Where's the one without over there? That'll be the last one we do. So you've got all of those with the score lines at the front. Now, I'll move them up a little bit. Lay one down, and you're going to put glue on that half of these are just going to lay on top of each other. So you want your adhesive, you could put a strip of tear and tape on here, but for quickness I'll do it this way. You put your glue down just that half section, then line this next one up on top of it, like so, against that halfway score line, making sure they're even top and bottom. And then the next one will be the same. Glue on this piece. And lay that on there. Nice and even, top and bottom, and down against that score line. It just gives you a nice guide. The other one that I watched, you didn't have that score line there, and you just had to judge that you had them nice and even. This comes out nice and even. Same again, just glue them all together at the halfway mark. It's so simple once you've done a few. This one we're doing, I'm having a retreat here. A friend of mine and I are organising a retreat here at my home in October this year. And this is one of the cards that they're all fancy fold cards, and they'll all be Christmas cards. And I'm hoping to get, we had 5 ladies at the beginning of the year with the retreat we had, and I think I've got about a dozen so far for this one. It turned out pretty popular from the last one. And this is one of the cards that we're doing. Oops, not on that one, this one. Oh, it will go on that one eventually. We'll do it in the correct order. Use a fair bit of glue on those so it does stick down pretty well. Nice and straight. It's nice and straight when you've got something to guide you. Last one before the non-scored one. Hold that down flat. And this is why you haven't got the score on the last one, because you don't want it showing at the front. There's those, they're all underneath now. And it will go that way. Glue on the half, and then just line this one up. That's the last one, making sure, nearly did it wrong, making sure that tab is facing towards you so it ends up facing backwards when you put your card together. It wouldn't have mattered it too much. You don't sort of see it too much. But you'll get them all in the same direction. Now this end one's got a tiny little piece showing at the edge there that I'm going to trim off. Not much, just a smidge. That's better. And that's your Cascade wave, like so. And now we're going to put it inside the card. We'll decorate. Now I was going to put these little pieces on it. I thought it might have been easier to put them on. These are all my flowers, and I have cut these little pieces with the little dotty piece. The flowers will go on that piece there, so they stand up all the way back. As you can see on this one, they're on the top section. So this lower section is where I'm going to put these, and I'm going to put them on before I do it on the card. And I want the line running across, so I'll just, you don't have to do this piece, it's just my idea, finishing it off a little bit. And I'll get my tweezers, not those tweezers, these tweezers. So the stand-up piece is the flower, so the bottom will go there, and it's just a smidge smaller, a 1/16 smaller than the piece that it's going on to. These are 5/8 inch, I think it was 5/8 inch square. Not sure where I put the, because it was, yes, it was 3/4 inch, the width of those little pieces. So these were 5/8 inch. A little bit fiddly job, but I think it'll be worth it. A little bit slow here. My hands are a little bit cold as well. And it is quite fiddly in there, putting them in. If this is your first time watching, let me know where you're from, and if you haven't watched before, subscribe. I'd love you to subscribe to my channel. I go on every Monday morning at 9 AM. That's Brisbane, Queensland, Australia time. So if you like what I do, I'd love your comments and let me know where you're from. If you join my craft room tips and tutorials, all my PDFs for these cards, they're all fancy fold cards, they're all in there, plus a few other extras every now and then I put on there. But you're welcome to join. I've got nearly 300 members in there, so it's getting quite large. But I love people to see where people are from. I've got people from all parts of the world. Obviously craft-minded people that enjoy crafting as well. Sorry this is taking a little bit longer, but I did decide to do this at the last minute. One more in there. Just had a mouthful of water before I start coughing. It's the trouble with winter, you get croaky voices. And that's that one there. That's all of those. We'll put the flowers on after we've put this into the card base. That just gave those a little bit of time to dry. So, back to our card base. Move that out of the road. All we're going to do, line this up so it's centered in the middle. And I put it level with the top of the DSP. Pretty sure that's what I did with that one. Yes, it is. So it's down below that score line. It's just the fraction of 1/8 inch down below. And you're going to put glue on this piece here. Yes, we'll do this side first. With it nice and level. And even on both sides, and then all you're going to do is close it shut. and close it so that it's even, matched up even down the bottom there. Just give that a minute to grab. And that's that joined up there. Then we're going to do the same up this side so it's still even with the bottom there. You're going to put glue on that section. It looks complicated to start with, but it's quite simple. And then we're going to close this shut. Like so, and it's nice and even at the bottom. And just give that a minute to grab. While that's, I didn't want to open it up too much yet, so we'll do the back while we're waiting for that. This is going on, but these ribbon bits are going on, and I'm going to put some seal. It's not the seal plus, it's just the normal seal. I'm going to put some. That's why I did the front first. I want to make sure that my ribbon is, I'll go this way. I want it between the greeting and the flower. So to go there. I'm just going to put some of that there. I think I've got enough to just pull that across a little bit. Put that there. And then we'll get the other piece and line it up. Because of the bulk, it's not. So we'll just line that up with the piece on that side. I'm probably off camera there. Like so. So when it's around, the bow will be in the centre. Then we can adhere the other mats over the top of that, which I'm going to put some more of this just to make sure that ribbon holds. Sometimes I find if I use multi-purpose glue on my layers, it tends to buckle a little bit. And that will go. Just make sure I've got this up the right way. These two strips were cut off the sides of those inside pieces, so it sort of lined up with the pattern. You could make them a little bit narrower, but I don't need a lot of space to write. And then that will tie shut. We'll do that later. We'll go back to this piece. That's still not stuck down very well. I think I've got it upside down, which I have. I did the whole thing upside down. I'm going to lift that. Excuse my mess. Hoping it works. Because I've got it the wrong way around. I didn't look at my pattern when I did that. This will still glue back down, I'm hoping. What a mess. That should have gone that way. It's going to go back in the same spot, so that's better. I did have it upside down. Excuse my mess, but that's okay. We'll fix it. I should have looked before I stuck them down. We'll just put them back on top of where it was. Line it up there. I'll take that piece off. If I'd have used tear and tape, which I should have, you can use your heat gun to lift it up. Just straighten that, bring that down. Now it'll be right. I should have looked before I started, but it's all fixed. What not to do, just hold that for a sec. That's better. Still the same. No, it's not. It's going the other way to that one, but it'll work. It's on the opposite side, but that's okay. I had to put it back there because I've already ripped the thing, but you can do it to the other side anyway. So these, I'm going to start with one that faces that way so it's not sticking out past the card, and I'm just going to use some multi-purpose glue in here. Hold that down, just make sure it's not going outside the card. This one will go in here. The top one there, I've got the leaf. I'll see if I can find one that's the leaf's sort of up in the air a bit. That one's better. That's still too far out. I've got them one each way. We'll go over there a bit. Just going to stick all these on. This Cascade is just the opposite way to my other ones, but that's okay. I should have looked before I started what not to do. You don't want too big a flower up here, otherwise it's going to sit up too far. You could put all different colour flowers if you like. I prefer, flicking them up the back. We've got that way and that way, wrong way. The leaves are probably going to be a bit sticking out too far, but I might pull them off and redo them if they are. That way. Trying to hold it still. Not enough glue. You need a fair bit of glue, or you need tear and tape. I should have looked at my sample card before I stuck that mechanism down. But all you've got to do is start the other way and it will be fine. This one first. Oh no, I've gone 1, 2, 1, 2. Way that way, that way, that way, that way. Got these the wrong way. I'll just put them over to the other side. I did stick them on with glue dots so they were easy to move. I might have started with the wrong one. Making a few boo-boos today, but that's okay. I'm sure people understand. And then the last one. I hope a few people are still with me. It's taken a little while to get this right. We'll close it shut and give them a good squash. It's that little bit of extra thickness in there that's quite bulky. but then you can tie it together with a ribbon. Just give them a good press down, and there we go. That's how it works. It's just the opposite way to this one. This one's running off this way, this one's running off this way, but it just shows you can do it either way. And I've got the little pieces in between on that, and that's how it sits. Hope you like that. Works nicely. It shows you can go either way with your fan. What you would do, start on this side with your thing up the right way. That's what I did wrong. I started with these patterns the other way around, so then it didn't go the same way. And then I'll show you when I tie a bow. I tie it upside down, and then it ends up right way up. Tie it there, and I'll get my other tweezers. These ones here are good to hold your ribbon. They're a reverse tweezer, I call them. I'll just tie a bow on that. I'll undo it again in a sec. That's why you need probably every little bit of 9.5-inch ribbon. Take that third finger out, and that's your bow. It will sit. I'll just trim those ends up on an angle. And that is it. Now we have 3 of them. The girls will love these. I'll just make sure I get them the right way when they do them. And that's today's card. I'll undo that again for you and just show you today's. Hope you like that. Love to have you subscribe to my channel. Hit the little bell when you do subscribe, and it will notify you when my videos go up. And I'll catch you all again next week. Bye for now.